All right, let's talk about it. Semicolons versus colons. It's one of those grammar showdowns that trips up, well, pretty much everyone. But not for long. We are going to clear this up for good, right here, right now. You know the feeling, right? You're in the middle of writing something, you've got this great sentence, and then you freeze. Semicolon? Colon? Which one is it? It's that classic moment of punctuation panic. Well, let's solve that puzzle. Okay, first up, let's talk about the semicolon. And I want you to do me a favor. Stop seeing it as this scary, complicated thing. Honestly, it's not. Think of it more like a super comma. Yeah, a comma with a cape, basically. It's got a few special jobs that no other punctuation mark can do. So, what does it do? At its core, it's just a pause. But it's a very specific kind of pause. You know, a comma is like a quick breath. A period, or a full stop, is a hard stop. The semicolon, it's that perfect in-between. Not too short, not too long. It's the Goldilocks of pauses. It's just right. And this super comma is definitely not a one-trick pony. It has three main jobs, three key powers. First, it's a master at taming complicated lists. Second, it's a genius at linking related ideas. And third, it plays really well with transition words. Let's break those down. All right, job number one, wrangling wild lists. You know those lists that are super complex, where each item in the list already has commas in it? If you just use more commas to separate the items, it becomes an absolute mess. It's chaos. That's when the semicolon swoops in to save the day, acting like a big, clear divider. Let's look at this world tour example. See, we've got Paris, France, Rome, Italy, Cairo, Egypt. If we used commas everywhere, you wouldn't know where one location ends and the next begins. It'd just be a jumble of words. But with the semicolons, boom. Each city, country pair becomes its own neat little package. The semicolon acts as the clean, crisp separator between them. Okay, on to its second power, and this one is my favorite. It's really elegant. The semicolon acts like a bridge. It connects two complete sentences, two full ideas that are so closely tied together you don't want to separate them with a period. A period feels too final, you know? It cuts the flow. Take a look at this. The first version is totally fine. It looks like it is going to rain. I'd better bring my umbrella. Two separate sentences. Nothing wrong with that. But look at the version with the semicolon. It looks like it is going to rain. I'd better bring my umbrella. Can you feel the difference? It connects the cause and the effect, creating this smooth, logical flow. It just feels smarter, more connected. And finally, the semicolon's third job, it's an amazing tag team partner. It loves to work with those fancy transition words. You know, words like however, therefore, also, consequently. These are called conjunctive adverbs, but don't worry about the name. Just know that when you use them to link two full sentences, the semicolon is their best friend. So check this out. It looks like it might rain. That's a complete sentence. Then you get the semicolon, then the transition word, however, followed by a comma, and then the second complete sentence. The weather report suggests sunshine all day. The semicolon does the big work of joining the two sentences, and that word, however, just tells you how they're related. It's a really powerful combo. So that's the semicolon, a connector, a bridge, a list wrangler. Now, let's switch gears and meet our other contender, the colon. And if the semicolon is a subtle bridge, the colon is, well, it's a drum roll, a big announcement. It's basically pointing and shouting, hey, look over here, something important is coming. I really love this way of thinking about it, a mark of expectation. The colon builds anticipation. It literally tells your reader, get ready, I'm about to give you the answer, or the list, or the big reveal. It's all about that setup and delivery. And really, the colon's main job, its bread and butter, is to introduce stuff. It rolls out the red carpet for what's coming next, whether that's a list of things or an explanation that clarifies what you just said. It's like a spotlight shining directly on the information that follows. Here's the classic example you see everywhere. The first part, here are three things every dog needs, is a complete sentence. It makes a promise, right? It sets up an expectation. And then the colon steps in and says, and here they are, followed by the list. Simple, clean, perfect. It's not just for lists, though. A colon is also amazing for introducing an explanation. Look at this. He got what he worked for. Okay, that's a complete thought, but what did he work for? The colon answers the question. He really earned that promotion. The second part explains the first. The colon is that perfect pivot between the statement and the explanation. And here's another great use, introducing a quote.
When you've got a full, complete sentence setting up the quote, a colon is the perfect way to formally present it. It's like saying, "And now for the words of my coach." It's a strong, deliberate intro. Of course, you also see colons in a few other technical spots all the time, like telling time, right? 3:47 p.m. Or in book titles, separating the main title from the subtitle. And in super formal letters, you might see "Dear Miss Jackson" with a colon. These are just the little day-to-day jobs it does.
Okay, this is super important. Knowing when to use a colon is great, but knowing when not to use one, that's what separates the pros from the amateurs. So let's step into the do not use zone and talk about the biggest, most common mistakes. Here's the number one rule, the golden rule of colons. The part before the colon has to be a complete sentence. It has to be able to stand on its own. Look at the incorrect version. Her favorite subjects are... That's not a sentence. It leaves you hanging. Are what? The sentence needs to flow right into math and English, so no colon needed. Same deal with prepositions, words like by, for, or with. Look at this sentence. The movie was directed by. Again, that's not a complete thought. It needs the name to be complete. The colon just breaks the flow of the sentence. It shouldn't be there.
Oh, and this is a huge one. I see this all the time. You should never ever put a colon after phrases like such as, including, or for example. Why? Because those phrases are already doing the colon's job. They're already introducing the list. Adding a colon is like saying ATM machine. The machine part is redundant. Just let such as do its thing.
All right, so we've seen the special powers of the semicolon, the grand reveals of the colon, and, most importantly, the traps to avoid. You are now officially equipped to use these two punctuation marks like a pro, with style, with confidence. Look, if you forget everything else, just remember this one core idea. Semicolon equals link. It connects two related, complete thoughts. Colon equals reveal. It announces that something is about to be presented. Link versus reveal. That's it. That's the whole game right there. So there you have it. Your writing just got a serious power up. You now have the tools to make your sentences flow with more style and logic. The only question is, what are you going to write next? Go on, put it to work.